Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Arissa and this is Arissa Rue Resin Art. And I am home for a month from work because I had carpal tunnel surgery and I lift heavy things at work and I can't do that. So I'm gonna try to get really focused on my YouTube channels, this one and Arissa Rue Art, of course. And I was watching the Base Resonator, Tim Watkins, I believe his name is, and he did the Aztec calendar, I believe, by Crafted Elements today or yesterday. And it reminded me that I had the Sugar Skull Mandela one by Crafted Elements, and I haven't done it in years and years and years. And so I pulled it out. I actually have two of them, and I'm just going to do one, obviously, today. And I pulled it out, and it had already outlining on it, but I darkened it up. But the outlining, I think I did it in like 2021, and it's just been sitting there waiting for me to use it. So it's been waiting. So I use just my chrome pen. This is by Zayar, Z-E-Y-A-R, Zayar, whatever it is. And I just kind of reinforce the outlining. And obviously this is going to be on a massive fast forward because I'm going to color this all in with different micas. But I do want, because I'm going to end up covering it in black, I do want the teeth and the eyes to be white. So in my little food dehydrator now that I only use for resin, it's never had food in it, I have like 30 mils of white resin that I mixed up, and I'm just heating it up for 10 minutes at like 165 degrees, just so it really starts to cure on me. And then I'm going to put it in the teeth and then around the whites of the eyes. And so I am going to do that. And then I'm going to get to, and I'm going to take a long time to do this because I'm right-handed and I had surgery on my right hand, and I'm absolutely useless with my left hand. So there's no coloring this in with my left hand. So I'm going to use a big brush so I don't have to do super fine movements because that hurts. And I'm just going to dust this. And it's going to be, I swear I could watch a whole movie while I do this. It's going to take me a while, but I will fast forward through it, all of it, for you. And then we'll get going. I haven't even picked out all my colors, so it will be a whole process. But thanks for being here. I'm going to pause this, and I have 5 more minutes on my resin. It's been in there for 5 minutes. 5 more minutes on my resin, and then I'll come back and you'll see me dotting it in the teeth and the eyes, and I may let that sit for another 15 minutes to thicken up while I pick my colors, so then I can do my colors around it without it flowing everywhere. So I will be back. Bye. All right, so my resin is very liquidy right now because it's super hot, which is what I want. I'm gonna use a pipette, cutting the small nib off, maybe, because it's so liquidy. Perhaps it will work well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it. Let me clean off the excess here so I don't drip into other spots. And so I'm just gonna use my little pipette. Let me make sure I get the resin to the tip before I start dripping it and fill up the teeth. Like that. And it doesn't matter if it goes over the teeth marks because they're all incorporated, but I just don't want it to go over the mouth. And so I'm just gonna fill this up like so. Hopefully it will start to thicken up really quickly on me. I do have another mold because certainly I don't need all of this resin and I don't want to waste. Let me get that, make sure it's flowing. I don't want any bubbles in here, but I just wanted the teeth white. And no matter what kind of silver or white you use behind, in front of black, you're always gonna get a gray color. And I don't want that, I want them to be white. And so this is opaque, I believe, I hope. Now I'm saying that, I hope it's opaque. I think it's gonna be thick enough though that it'll still read white after I put the black on there. Oh, I let there be a bubble there. Get that out of there. So I'm gonna let this sit and thicken up for 15-20 minutes while I pick up my colors. So there's that part. And then I want this part. So for this one, I'm probably gonna put a little less and then use a sharp implement to kind of spread it out. so I make sure I don't get it into the pupil part. Okie dokie. All right, I am back. This is not tacky, it's tacky, but it's not thick, thick. But some would use UV resin to make this. I don't like using UV resin and epoxy resin because they don't really bond. You could flick it off. If you tried hard enough, you could flick it off. And I don't want that for this piece at all, or any of my pieces. So I don't do that. So another option would be to pour this in epoxy and let it fully cure. But I also don't want this coming up free from the mold. And so like this, because it's not cured, I have flexibility. And if I need to move this, not that I'm going to, I don't plan on picking it up because it would still run. But if I needed to move it, it would just flex with the mold rather than coming apart from the mold. So that's my justification for not using this, not letting this fully cure or not using UV resin, because I don't want it coming apart and I do want it to bond with the resin. And so I've got just a lot of different colors. I've got my Tiny Turner colors. I've got my whole set of Nell chrome powders. I've got some Resineers chameleon powders. I've got my Mateo powders. I got so many powders around me. I have my Eye Candy red, which I really love. This is the Yamagata red. I love it so much. So I am literally just going to put you guys on the queen and king of all fast forwards, and we're gonna go. And if it gets too long, I may actually just cut the video because I don't really want to take up so much storage on my phone. But let's, for now, play around with some colors. I know in the middle, I'm gonna want Supernova by the Tiny Turner. It's a beautiful red, and that's what I want right there. So that's where I'll start. And I will see you guys. I'm going to time it. I'll see you guys and let you know how long this actually took me when I'm done. All right, I'll be back. My arm and my hand and my wrist are getting tired. Again, just had surgery like Friday. Today's Monday. So I'm going to finish this slowly and off camera because I'm trying to rush. So I'm not just filming forever. But if I can just spend my evening doing this and not have to rush so much, that will do better. And I may even have to finish it tomorrow after I've rested or iced my arm or something. But I am excited about how this is coming out so far. I love the colors. I think I'm going to allow the eyes and the mouth to cure fully and then do a color wash over the whole back in the end rather than trying to color in the negative spaces of this with mica. And just do kind of a soft bristled like makeup brush and do a color wash over the end. Gosh, this hurts my arm. This hurts so badly right now. I just want to finish this one part. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So, I may just rest, do a couple more spots here in the bigger areas, maybe here too. Definitely finish off of those and these circles. This one down here is pretty full, actually. A lot of that to me in my eye is background. I may do a little bit of the swirl around this green and silver swirl, but not too much. To me, this is all full because this is all background behind there. That's background. So there isn't a tremendous amount more to paint on here. I'll paint the whole sides. And I actually may just do that Emerald Cat again on this part because I like how that's flanked. And I can do that big right now with you guys on camera with the bigger brush. Because using those small brushes really just irritates my nerve in my arm. This is the Emerald Cat, right? And my wrist. So I don't really want to use the smaller brushes anymore right now. But these bigger brushes where I can use my forearm more rather than my wrist, definitely easier. So I'm going to do this with my forearm here. And then I will let this cure and then finish the rest. And again, like I said, I'll come back and do a color wash over the back of everything. I don't know what color yet. I kind of want to do a chameleon flake, but I don't know if I want to use that many chameleon flakes because that's a lot. But I have some cheaper ones, but cheaper ones just don't give you the color. And I'm using so much here that I want the color to be amazing. I'll do this part in the Emerald Cat too, since it's a bigger part. And I can use the bigger brush like that. It's coming over a little bit right there. So I'm going to take just my thing here and I'm just going to sweep that back and take it off completely. Since it is sticky, it should stay off. But I'm just going to sweep that back into where I need it to be just to make sure I have a distinct line there on all of these points. The mouth is looking great. It's not coming over at all, right? Yeah, not coming over at all. I'm excited about that. So, and this is getting really sticky. I don't think it's going to be moving. That was just kind of a one-off that I didn't see. I'm going to let my arm rest more than anything. I'm going to finish up the colors, and then once this is cured in here, I'll come back and do the color wash with you. And then we'll pour the black behind it and we'll let it demold. And then tomorrow morning, of course, because it's like 4:30, we'll see what we've got. So I will see you after this is cured. All right. Hi. Dude, I'm pretty sure I wasn't recording when I did this part, which is quite unfortunate. Then I had an appointment, so I had to leave. But all I did in this part is I took my two Let's Resin chameleon flakes, the hot pink chartreuse and the lime blue, and I sprinkled it. And then I used a smaller brush to begin with to move it and kind of puff it down because this was still very wet. And then I used a bigger brush to wipe it around. And so all I'm going to do now is mix up some resin and I'm going to color it black. And we're going to get this poured. But before I do that, I'm probably going to grab my heat mat and put it underneath. Let me get this cleared out because I don't want to wait. I'm impatient. And so let me get my pigments put away where they go. here. These don't go here. These go over here. I'm gonna get my pigments and all my colors put away. Ooh, dropping things. I'm trying not to move too quickly. My daughters are yelling at me because I'm using my hand too much. Rightfully so. So I'm trying to go be better. So let me get all these put away with my left hand so my right hand can relax. And then I'm going to mix up some resin. I don't know how much this takes because it's been so long since I've made it. Let me put my blade away before I cut myself. So I think I'm gonna mix up, you guys, I really truly suck at estimating the amount of resin things need. I really do. So I think I'm just gonna make like 20 ounces of resin, I think. Maybe 22. If it's not all the way filled, it's okay because all the business end is on the front. So I'm just gonna mix up 22 ounces of resin because I have other things that I can do. I'm just grabbing my heat mat here. Ow, can't use that hand. Okay. Okay. I'm doing too much, y'all. Now, this is still not all the way cured, but I don't want to risk it coming off of the mold. So I'm going to pick it up with 2 hands here. And now we're going to go horizontal to the camera, but I'll make sure you can still see. Yeah, perfect. So get that plugged in. I'm going to get off. I'm going to mix up my resin. I have my Nick Pro resin that I'm going to use today. I have my cup here that I used earlier today. And I'm going to degas it, probably in my vacuum chamber since it's a bigger cup. This one actually had silicone in it, and I can feel silicone in it, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to grab a different mixing apparatus. All right, so I'm going to mix this. It's going to take me a while to mix it because I'm going to use my left hand as I should. I should plug in my Let's Resin or my Resiners mixer, but I didn't, so it's not charged. So that's what we got. So I will be back, and I'll come back with some mixed up resin. Alrighty, I did put this in my vacuum chamber, but it was taking too long, so I split it up into two or three different cups. I left some of it in here, but then I transferred some of it into smaller cups. Let me not spill. And I put them in the Let's Resin debubbler because it's faster, and my resin was so deep that it was getting warm already, and I don't want to deal with that. So now all I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this on already, and I'm going to turn it on high because why not? Then I'll leave it on for a few hours. And I'm going to take the resin that was debubbled, and I'll put that on the base, and the resin that didn't get debubbled, the other part over here, then I'll put that on the top. But for now, I'm just going to pour, and I'm going to pour slowly so I can get it into every little nook and the crannies here. Hopefully I don't get any bubbles. And so these little areas here with the little tiny areas, little tiny what the heck, crater things, I'm going to try to really concentrate on getting my resin in those because that's where I'll get bubbles if I get them. So just going over here slowly. The bigger areas aren't going to be as big of a concern because the resin won't bubble there as easily. So just sprinkling on, taking my time, making sure I get it in where I can. And then going to the next group of little bits. I'm trying to get it in there. I could spray this with alcohol, but I don't want my micas to move because I'm using a black base. In the black base, I did put some interference gold, if you're seeing that. I just wanted a little bit of extra something. And so I'm just going to take my time, spread this through, out, trying to make sure I get all of it into everywhere. And I will fast forward because this is going to take a moment. this is taking a lot less resin than I expected. So I may have some extra here. But now that it's all covered, I'm gonna spray it with alcohol because my micas, I have on the outer rim of this are flakes, and flakes are stubborn to say the least. So this little bit of spray of alcohol is not gonna take the flakes off of the side of this. It will take the micas off, which is why I covered all the areas with micas with resin first before I spray. And now I can pour it and it'll help to alleviate bubbles on the outside of this piece. All right, so that's my first cup down. Let me get my little scraper here. This is like a blender spatula that I have that scrapes the entirety of your cup. I love it. And I never scrape the outside of the cup like that because then it gets into the rim, and I use my cups over again, and I don't like resin stuck on the under the rim of these. So I scrape it like that because I'm just picky. All right, so let's pour this second cup here. It's certainly not going to take the 24 ounces that I mixed up. It'll be close. So I'm not going to waste too much resin. Well, not waste. I would never waste resin, but I haven't over poured too much. But it will be nice to know how much this needs so I don't have to mix too much next time. This motion is not good for my hand. All right, let's do this last one so I can stop scraping stuff. Maybe I actually guessed pretty right on. Yeah, this was 24 ounces. And again, I don't have to fill this up. This was actually a perfect guess. Yay, that's all I needed. Was it 24 ounces? Let me see. It was 800 mils. Which was just a little over 24 ounces, like close to 26 ounces of resin in here. And that is exactly enough. I don't need to have it domed or anything. This is a thick and chunky mold, so this will be perfect. I'm going to end up putting the heat cover over this, but I won't do it immediately because I want the bubbles to be able to come out. And if I put the heat cover on, it's going to cure super fast. So I will let it sit on here for a little bit and then come back and put the heat mat on, or heat cover on, just so I make sure that the bubbles have a moment to come out and dissipate on their own. I'll clean all this out in a second. I like it, and I'm glad that it's not domed because then I can spray it with alcohol without it coming over the side. So that makes me happy. Let me show you a couple things I made. In the meantime, let me take off these gloves. Let me take them off responsibly so I can put them back on to clean my stuff. Ouch. Hands. I'm such a baby. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. One more finger. There we go. Okay. Golly. Okay. So I made this skull. I really, really love this skull mold. I have a couple of them with Halloween coming up. I thought I would make a skull with snakes, and I really love it. And I think Marva from Marvelous Artsy, today I saw a video of her doing an apple. There's an apple mold apparently with the snake wrapped around, and it inspired me. So I did that skull. Love that. And then these are just some dragons, little baby dragon characters. I made these molds. I have two more that I haven't poured today, but I really love how these turned out. I made them before, but I had the hardest time getting to the fingers. And it's because I made the mold too deep or too thick. And so I couldn't open it enough. And so I made them smaller, but then I also made it a split mold. I don't mind a split mold. I can align the pieces pretty well. And so I made them split molds, mostly because I couldn't get them out today with my hand and I had to split it in order to get them out. But I really love how the eyes turned out on these, and I'm excited to see how those, the other two come. So I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna let it sit for an hour. I'll probably not demold this until tomorrow morning because it's 8 o'clock tonight, but it depends on how quickly it cures, because it is a lot of resin, it's gonna cure quickly. I'm gonna leave it uncovered on here for at least an hour. And then when I come back, we'll demold this one-handed with just my left hand, so nobody yells at me. And we'll see what we got. All right, I'll be back. Good morning, everyone. It is time to demold this big old boy. I'm super excited. So let's just get it off of this board. And I can do this one-handed, I think. So I'm just gonna get it started here. Hold it down while I peel it. And definitely gonna make a couple of more of these. I'm gonna try not looking with you. I'm not gonna look. I'm just gonna get it all unpeeled and then we'll take it off. Ready? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Oh, the eyes turned out well. Let me see. Are you still in frame? Absolutely love it. This is too big. Let me back you out a little bit. Maybe. Zoom there. I absolutely love it. This turned out so well. I love all the colors. And I love that all the lines are definitely there. You can see them outlined in that silver. And I'm excited about this. But let me know what you think. This is just one of a mini I'll make for the holiday season. I'm so in love. It's just as big as, it's bigger than my head. I love this thing. I think it's like 12 inches. Look at my ruler here. See, inches, where are my inches? There they are. Yeah, it is just about 12 inches long. It's a little less than 12 inches long. I love it so much. You can get this mold on craftedelements.com. I think it's like $60, a little less than $60. I swear when I bought it, they were more than that, maybe. I don't remember. It was a lot of years ago. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I love that the teeth are white. I love that the eyes are white. I love that you can see a little bit of the black in here. I may color the eyes black all the way because I do want them to stand out a little more. Let me see if I can grab a pen and just see. This is just a Sharpie oil-based marker. Make sure it's running here. So I may just go in and color the eyes all the way black. And that way they're a little shiny too. Just like that. And do a couple of coats. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I do like the black in there. But thanks for watching. I will definitely be making more videos because, as I said, I have about a month off of work because of this hand. It's so funny. I can use it like this, but anytime I go to lift anything, I'm like, ow, 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 stop it, stop it, stop it. So I can't do anything. And I lift a lot of heavy stuff at work. So that's not going to work. I may go in with the teeth. I want them to have a little contrast. So I may go in just with like a gray acrylic marker here and just add a little contrast in the insides of the teeth. Like, that was a little light still. Let me get a darker gray. Here we go. And just kind of add some contrast into that. This is just a metallic marker. So I can do it like that and then get a paper towel, oops, and a little alcohol and wipe off the top just to make sure that the darker is just in the inside there. And that way you have that contrast on the teeth as well. This is a dual side marker. I love it so much. So just kind of going in between the teeth to add a little shading and shadow in there so they stand out. Like that. And I love that all the parts are raised. So if I did want to add more contrast to anything, I can do it easily because I can easily wipe off the top surfaces of all the parts that I use the mica on. So that will just add a little bit of shading to the teeth themselves. Otherwise, I think I'm happy. I really, really love this. I love that I flanked it in that emerald cat because that just kind of, I like that look there. I love it. And I love that I did the dual color background. And again, I'm sorry if I don't think I was recording. I thought I was recording when I did that. But I absolutely love this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you all on the next video. Bye. Please subscribe. I think I have like 17 subscribers on this channel, but I think this is going to be my 3rd or 4th video. So I need to do a little bit more. But I would love to grow this channel with you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye. All right. I wanted to show you me putting this little hanger on camera, but it wasn't working with me trying to do it with my hand and blah, blah, blah. So I just did it off camera. So all I did is took my little D-ring, whatever you call it here, and I put 2 layers of the 3M foam tape under it just to kind of cushion it. So the screw, which was short enough to go without going through the front, but was really short enough because I don't want that. And also just to kind of hold it in place. And then the next thing I want to do is, because this is going on a wall, I don't want it to scratch the walls at all. So I'm just going to put some alcohol on just to get any kind of grease from my gloves or whatever off of here. And then I'm going to alcohol my gloves too, because I'm going to use gloves, but I don't want to transfer any grease from my gloves again to my bumpers. And so for my bumpers, I just have the clear like cabinet bumpers, and I'm just going to put them here, whoops, and I think here, and that should be enough. But I'm an overdoer, so I may put them here too, just because I really want this to not scratch the wall. And it is resin. I did use my deburring tool a bit to make sure that the edges are nice and smooth, but that's how I would finish the back. And I did take my darker marker, and you can see I put a darker line around its mouth and its eyes just so they're a little more distinct. But this is my final product. Let me see, can you see it all? This is my final product. I like it. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.